may bagong pag-asa para kay Digong Duterte. At bagong pag-asa rin ito para sa mga DDS. Kaya, bakit ba parang umaayon ang panahon para kay Digong Duterte sa ngayon? Una, sorry. Nanalo si Sara Duterte sa Supreme Court. Yan ang una. Pangalawa, may sampa kagad ng reklamo na impeachment. Pagsampa ng reklamo, labag naman ito sa panuntunan ng Supreme Court. Kaya, delikado na naman, mababasura na naman yung mga sinampa nilang reklamo sa punto de vista ng batas at saka sa punto de vista ng tinatawag na labag na sa 1-year ban. Labag pa sa 1-year ban rule ang ginawa ng mga nagsampa ng reklamo. Atat na atat. Gusto nilang na masira kagad si Sara. Kasi sa totoo lang, ang tunay na hangad ng mga kalaban nila ay yung pipigilan nila ang pagiging Pangulo ni Sara Duterte sa 2028. Yan po ang katotohanan. So magiging totoo lang tayo sa batas. Alangan naman kukontrahin ko si Sara dito kasi ito na sugo ng batas. At alangan naman sasabihin ko na pumapabor ko kay Sara kasi ito naman ang utos ng batas. Alangan naman kukontrahin ko batas, di ba? Kasi sinasabi ng Supreme Court sa huling labas nito, sa unang desisyon, sinabi niya na ang pinakamaagang pagsampa ng bagong impeachment na reklamo kay Sara Duterte ay sa February 6, 2026. So, ganun ang sinabi. So, ngayon, kung ganun, ano ang ano mangyayari? Sir, nagla-live ako, sir.
Sir,
Nagla-live ako ngayon, sir.
hello.
Hello, sir. Nagla-live ako ngayon.
Hello.
Hello, nagla-live po ako ngayon.
Okay.
Okay. May tumawag ng kaibigan. So, ito po yung problema, no? Pero, ang swerte, mukhang ang swerte, pwede mo sabihin na ito po ay galaw ng Panginoon. Kung galaw ito, ibig sabihin po, ang Panginoon ay kakampi ng mga Duterte. Ang iba naman dyan, anti-Duterte, Panginoong demonyo yan. Matatawa ka na lang. Tipos, style pa nila kung magsampa ng reklamo, magpe-press con, dinadala taong bayan na may gusto na i-impeach si Sara. Taong bayan anong pruwiba nyo na taong bayan? Lalo na ito si Kiko Aquino D. Ha? Masyado kang presko, Mr. Kiko Aquino D. Kung feeling mo, magaling ka kasi pamilya Aquino ka nang galing. Ayong gabi kay Divine Grace TV. May problema lang ako. Nag-down lang ang internet ko. Pero I hope so na maayos na sa ngayon. I hope so na maayos ang internet natin ngayon. Mahalaga pa naman ang topic ko sa ngayon. I hope so na maayos ang internet natin ngayon. So, ang topic ko po sa ngayon ay ganito. Si Duterte po ay nagkaroon ng bigla ng pag-asa na baka makalabas siya. Hindi makalabas kundi madideklara na unfit to trial. Bakit po? Ulitin ko lang. Inaprubahan po ng pre-trial chamber ang hiling ng abogado ni Duterte na si Attorney Kaufman na bigyan sila ng pagkakataon na may iapila sa appeals chamber ang decision ng pre-trial chamber na binasura ang kanilang hiling na ideklara na unfit to trial si Duterte. Ngayon lang nilabas ng ICC ang hiling o ang request ng abogado ni Duterte at doon mababasa na natin. Ngayong araw lang nilabas. So magandang gabi. Konbanwa, Nakatamina, Mamu, Konbanwa sa Japan, mga Pilipino sa Japan, Konbanwa. So, yung dahilan ng parang napuwersa dito ang pre-trial chamber. Pag binasa mo po ang rason kung anong ginamit na rason ng mga abogado ni Duterte sa paghiling sa pre-trial chamber na payagan sila umapila sa isyu na kung may fit to trial ba o hindi si Duterte, papunta doon sa appeals chamber. Ay ang mga ito. Shortcut ko lang, mamaya basahin natin isa-isa. Ang nangyari po ay, una, pinoint out ng mga abogado ni Duterte. Dito ko nakita ang galing ni Atty. Kaufman nung una parang malamya na sinabi niya ang pagkakamali po ng pre-trial chamber sa pagdesisyon na fit to trial daw si Duterte ay hindi man lamang kinonsidera, hindi man lamang tiningnan ng ICC pre-trial chamber ang report ng dalawang doktor ni Duterte na nagpapalabas talaga doon talagang pinanindigan na hindi po mahaba ang kanyang hindi mahaba ang panahon na mamimaintain ni Duterte ang kanyang memory. Halimbawa, tinatanong mo siya sa ngayon, alam mo bang akusasyon sa iyo na ikaw daw pumatay? After mag-question ng mga after 5 minutes, ibalik ang question, iba na naman ang sagot. So, ibig sabihin, wala po siyang tinatag na cognitive function. Ay, good evening, kapatid ko na mahal. Okay, so ganun ang mga pinipilit na mga doktor, dalawang doktor ni Duterte. Point out ng mga abogado ni Duterte na napaka-unfair ng bias ang pre-trial chamber. Bakit hindi nila tiningnan ang report ng dalawang doktor ni Duterte nung mag-decision ito na meron daw kakayahan si Duterte na magpatuloy sa pagtatrial? Alam mo, dito rin nilabas ng mga abogado ni Duterte ang pagkabayas ng ICC na nung pagkatapos maaresto si Duterte nung March 11 sa Ninoy Aquino International Airport at nilipad siya sa The Hague at nakarating siya doon March 12, 2025. At March 14, trial kagad. Hearing kagad. Yan pala yung abogado noon na tumayo para kay Duterte na si Attorney Miguel Dia na dating Executive Secretary ni Duterte ay nagsasabi humihingi ng postponement dahil po nag-alala siya sa kalagayan sa kalusugan ni Duterte. Akalain mo hindi man lang pinagbigyan ng ICC. So ngayon, pinakita, in-insist, parang nagalit na si Atty. Kaufman. Hindi ninyo isang araw lang na postponement ang hiningi, hindi ninyo pinagbigyan. At sa ngayon po, makikita mo, ang kakayahan ni Duterte ay sinasabi ninyo na may kakayahan siya ngayon dahil lamang sa binabasihan ng pre-trial chamber ay yung report ng panel ng mga doktor na tinalaga ng ICC. At hindi man lang tiningnan ang report ng mga doktor ni Duterte. So, ganon ang punto, lack of due process ang nangyari. Tapos, pinoint out pa ng mga abogado ni Duterte, Humihiling kami paulit-ulit na isalang nyo sa hearing ang mga panel of doctors na kinuha ng ICC at aming i-cross-examine sa hearing, hindi sila pinagbigyan. So ngayon, nagreklamo, sumulat ng sikreto ng confidential letter si Attorney Kaufman sa mga judge at sabi niya, nahihirapan ako sa pagiging abogado ko kay Duterte. Bakit? Yung tanong ko nung una ay hindi na maalala sa sunod na tanong niya. Magigilty ako sa konsensya ko na masentensyahan siya sapagkat ang mga kinwento nung una, to the point na aminin niya kahit ano. Ganun po yung sulat. Siguro, nagalaw ang damdamin ng judges ng pretrial chamber at pinayagan nila ang abogado ni Duterte na umapila sa appeals chamber. Kasi ganun yun, pag ang issue ay hindi patungkol sa jurisdiction, kapag ang tawag natin dyan na interlocutory order, ay hindi ka pwedeng umapila sa appeals chamber ng mga judges kung hindi papayag ang pre-trial chamber. So, ganun ang pinakita. Ngayon, ito para yung makita ninyo, ipakita ko ngayon sa inyo, yung tinanong si Duterte, yung pagsagot niya ganun. After, balikan mo siya na tanong, hindi na siya iba na naman ang sagot niya. Ngayon, ito ngayon ang indikasyon nung unang hearing nung March 14 na ipa-play ko sa ngayon, makikita nyo kung paano sumagot nang tinanong si Duterte kung anong pangalan niya. Yung mahinang-mahina ang sagot niya, parang walang lakas. Ito po, i-play ko po. Maalala nyo ito nung hearing. At sinasabi ni Attorney Kaufman na ito po yung rason kung bakit hindi mo masasabi na sa tamang pag-iisip si Duterte. So, pakitingnan natin ngayon kung ano itong hearing na ito. Tinatanong siya ni itong presiding judge, si Duterte. Okay, ito.
This said, I would like firstly to confirm your identity. Could you provide us with your full names, please?
I'm Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Yan ha, tingnan nyo ha. Parang hindi makapagsalita.
That's my first middle name is Roa. The surname is Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. What is your date of birth?
Again, ma'am.
Alam mo, hindi pa kanya marinig maayos ang tanong.
Can we request that the question be repeated? I don't think he heard it. Thank you.
Repetition from the English booth. What is your date of birth? Yes, thank you very much, Counsel. I was asking quite simply of Mr. Duterte what his full names were, and then I subsequently asked him what his date of birth was and what his place of birth is.
Kita Duterte. French kasi.
Is that all right, Counsel?
Yep. Of course, I did. My birth month day is March 28, 1945. I was born in the province of Leyte in the Philippines.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
So yan lang. Yan na. At least makita ninyo na at that time na hindi pumayag ang ICC na i-reset yung hearing, i-reschedule. Makita nyo yung kanyang health concern. So, ngayon, ito na basahin na natin ngayon yung argumento. Hindi, yung utos. Dahil doon, nag-utos din ang appeals chamber kung anong gagawin. Ipakita ko sa inyo yung utos ng appeals chamber. Kita mo kung ako mag-vlog dito, lahat po may ebidensya ha. Lagi nyo nakikita yan. Hindi po ako nagkikwento rito na marites-marites. Ayan. So nakita nyo na yan. Yan po yung utos ng Appeals Chamber. The Appeals Chamber, ito ang pangalan. No? Yung Appeals Chamber, ang mga judges po ay si Judge Luz del Carmen Ibanez Carranza presiding. Tapos si Judge Tumuco Akade. Ito po president ng ICC na judge galing sa Japan. Tapos si Judge Solomé Balogi Busa, si Judge Gutsa Lord Kipanidze, si Judge Erden Balsuren Damdin. Yan po sila. Ngayon ito yung utos nila pagkatapos payagan silang mag-apila. The Appeals Chamber of the International Criminal Court. In the appeal of Rodrigo Rua Duterte against the decision of Pretrial Chamber 1 entitled Decision on the Review of Mr. Rodrigo Rua Duterte's Detention of 26 January 2026, pursuant to Regulation 64, Paragraph 6, Paragraph B of the Regulations of the Court, issues the following order. Number 1, in the specific circumstances of the present case, the Appeals Chamber considers it appropriate to proceed in this appeal by way of written submissions only. So hindi na sila maghiring-hiring. Sulat na lang, palitan na lang ng argumento. Number 2, the defense for Mr. Rodrigo Rua Duterte shall file an appeal brief in the above-mentioned appeal not exceeding 20 pages by Thursday, February 5, 2026. Number 3, the deputy prosecutor and the legal representation of the victims may file responses to the appeal brief not exceeding 20 pages by Thursday, 12 February 2026. Signed, Judge Luz del Carmen Ibanez Carranza, presiding. Okay, yan ang utos. So, yung pinayagan pa lang na umapila si Duterte ay malaking ano na yan. Malaking bagay na po yan. Malaking pag-asa na yan. Oh. So ngayon, ito naman ngayon, ang buksan natin ang redacted version na pinost kanina ng ni Attorney Kaufman. Ang request for leave of appeal. Basahin natin at i-translate ko na lang sa Tagalog. Kasi naka-English po. Ito. Kaya magdasal kayo na baliktarin ang decision na fit to trial daw si Digong Duterte. So, ito na. Yan ay public redacted version of request for leave to appeal the decision. Okay, so dated February 2, 2026. So kahapon pinail. Pero ngayon, dahil iba yung oras nila, ngayong araw lang pinail. Dahil 3 sa atin ngayon, 2 pa lang dun sa kanila. So ito na. So ito, introduction. The pre-trial chamber made aware of Mr. Duterte's cognitive decline and of the difficulties facing counsel in receiving instructions from his client. So, problema ni Attorney Kaufman, hindi makasunod-sunod si Duterte sa kanyang instruction. Nang ibig sabihin, talagang ulyanin na. Hindi makasunod-sunod. So, ito na. Basahin natin. This is what counsel Attorney Kaufman wrote to the pretrial chamber on the eve of the initial appearance when seeking a postponement of that hearing from Friday afternoon to Monday. Sabi ni Attorney Kaufman sa sulat niya na confidential o sikreto papunta sa mga judges ng pretrial chamber, sabi niya ganito, I am considering pleading issues of competence to stand trial. I raised this issue confidentially and ex parte now because it will not be spoken of in court at this stage in order to prevent an unnecessary media storm. Notwithstanding, this plea requires serious consideration by me, such that if I am forced to appear today, I will be obliged to state that I am not in a position to declare whether Duterte has been properly informed of the nature of the charges against him per Article 60.1 rules of the statute and or the nature of the proceedings. I cannot let my client speak in such circumstances other than to acknowledge his name and former position. With the benefit of a weekend to work with my client when the court never sits, I could be in a better position to assess this matter. So sabi ni Kaufman, sumulat talaga siya. Hindi niya na makonsensya yung katotohanan na hindi sinusunod ni Duterte ang mga instructions niya kung anong gagawin. Na ibig sabihin, hindi naintindihan, nakakalimutan. Sabi niya, hindi niya pwedeng hahayaan si Duterte na magsalita sa ganong kondisyon. Maliban na lamang, ang alam niya lang ay, alam niya ang pangalan niya, alam niya dati siyang mayor, dating presidente, pero hindi niya alam yung iba na mga akusasyon laban sa kanya. So, sabi niya, kaya kung persahin daw siya na mag-appeal sa proceedings ng korte sa ngayon, hindi makonsensya ni Attorney Kaufman na dadalo sa hearing sapagkat hindi niya kaya na mapagsalita na maayos ang kanyang kliyente. Sabi niya, I will be obliged to state that I am not in a position to declare whether Duterte has been properly informed. So hindi niya kaya para sabihin kay Duterte na si Duterte ay nasabihan na unawaan niya kung ano ang nature and cause of the charges against him. Sa Pilipinas, yan po yung sitwasyon na kung saan may tinatawag na pagbasa ng kaso laban sa akusado. Ang tawag namin diyan ay arraignment. Magandang gabi kay Maria Fems. Tapos magandang gabi din kay Helen Bagyo na Imbag Rabi sa mga kabsat ko. Maya Pabengi sa mga kabalin ko. Magpapatuloy tayo. Kay Kumaro, bakit ayaw nilang bitawan ng ICC si PRRD? Dito natin makikita kung totoo nga ba yung kwento ng iba, akusasyon ng iba na nagbigay ng mali-malitang pera si Trillanes papunta dun sa judges at saka sa prosecutors. Well, wala tayong ebidensya niyan. Suspitsa pa lang natin yan. Pero may ebidensya na makikita mo na nagdedesisyon pabor sa kanila o laban kay Duterte na wala namang dahilan, walang katwiran o mayroon man kulang sa katwiran. Kagaya nito yung issue na kung fit ba sa trial si Duterte. Oo daw, pero hindi man lang ang reklamo ng abogado ni Duterte ay hindi man lamang ninyo tiningnan ang report, medical report ng dalawang sariling doktor ni Duterte. So bakit? So mayroon talagang bias, ganun po ang akusasyon nila ni Attorney Kaufman. So sabi pa ni Attorney Kaufman, with the defense request for a one-day postponement rejected, pero mo one-day postponement lang ni-reject, kabastusan na yan. Ibig sabihin, yan na po ang ebidensya na may bias ang ICC na pretrial chamber. And within hours of being discharged from hospital, Mr. Duterte was placed before a television to hear the presiding judge of the pretrial chamber pronounce on the basis of nothing that he was fully mentally aware and fit. No proper neurological assessment had at this stage been realized. Ibig sabihin, inupo nila sa trial noong March 14, si Duterte, o Duterte na lang, kopyahin natin ang salita ng French judge, o Duterte, na hindi man lamang idinaan sa psychological test kung okay. Okay, so anyway, number 3, sabi naman ni Attorney Kaufman, counsel has an ethical duty not to mislead the court. Yet, there appears to be a popular perception, one seemingly propagated by the legal representative for victims, that the fitness plea in this case is a ploy carefully crafted to shirk accountability. So, binanggit ni Kaufman na maaakusahan daw siya na unethical na paglilin lang sa korte. Pero hindi yan ang katotohanan ay, although popular ang perception na yan, pero ang katotohanan ay kailangan talaga ng kliyente at genuine, lehitimo na may sakit sa tinatawag na cognitive theory. Sa Tagalog pa, ulyanin. Kung sa Bisaya pa, ulianin. Number 4, the same plea was even deemed necessary by a member of the pretrial chamber who opined that issues of fitness are exclusively within the competence of the trial chamber. O yun. Sinight naman ni Attorney Kaufman na mali yung pretrial chamber. Bakit? Ang dapat daw na judge magsabi kung fit si Duterte o hindi ay yung trial chamber. Kasi sa trial ang matindi. Bawat isang issue dyan, mga testigo, mga ebidensya, busisiin. So paanong kaya? Hindi daw kaya ni Duterte yun ng trial. Ang pre-trial pwede, pero ang trial hindi niya kaya. Kaya sabi nung isang judge sa pre-trial chamber, ay dapat yung issue na yan, kung fit siya sa trial, ay ang trial chamber magsasabi. So ibig sabihin, without saying more, yan po ay admission ng pre-trial chamber judge na yon na talagang may basihan ang paghihingi ng pabor ng abogado ni Duterte na indefinite suspension muna. Kasi hindi pa dapat gamutin muna si Mr. Duterte. Para malalaman, baka mababalik ang kanyang cognitive competence. Ibig sabihin cognitive competence, yung makasunod ka sa bawat akusasyon, tatanungin ka sa sagot, ano bang, siyempre, tuwing may testigo na iupo, tuwing may ebidensya na ipapakita, during the trial, gaya ng ginagawa ko nung ako ay nagtatrial dahil trial lawyer ako, lagi ko pong tinatanong sa client ko, kinukonsulta ko ang lahat ng ebidensya na itatanong ko sa kalabang testigo. Kaya ba ni Duterte yan? Sa tingin ko, hindi niya kaya. Although, abogado siya. But then, iba yung abogado ka, iba yung advanced age ka na. 81 na siya ngayong March 28. So, yan po ang sinasabi ni Attorney Kaufman. So, anyway, patuloy natin. To highlight the extraordinary injustice caused to Mr. Duterte at every stage of the process, the defense provides a brief recap of its attempts to litigate the matter of fitness. Firstly, and relying on a formalistic application of its own regulations that ignored Mr. Duterte's signed consent, the registry denied counsel direct access to Mr. Duterte's medical record, insisting that Mr. Duterte procure it himself. Each time counsel requested Mr. Duterte to ask for these records, Mr. Duterte would promptly forget to do so because of his cognitive condition, as the back and forth correspondence will show. Secondly, the registrar and detention center medical officer prevented a defense neuropsychologist from examining Mr. Duterte until they had first instructed an anonymous neuropsychologist to do so. This anonymous neuropsychologist reported finding the very same cognitive deficiencies observed by the defense experts. So, dito muna tayo sa first and second. Nanghingi na daw si Duterte sa pamamagitan ng kanyang abogado na bigyan sila ng access doon sa medical report ng panel ng mga doktor na inorganisa ng panel ng ICC. Ayaw sila bigyan. Grabe naman, tinatago nila. Tapos secondly, may nangyari daw na pumunta yung sariling doktor ni Duterte para examinin siya. Akalain mo na hinarangan ng registrar at saka detention center medical officer. Hinarangan na hindi na pinapasok. At bagkus, ang ginawa nila, yung sarili nilang doktor na neuropsychologist ang pina-examine kay Duterte. Ganun pa man, ni-report ni Kaufman na yung report ng doktor na anonymous ay pareho rin sa report ng doktor ni Duterte na may problema. So, yan ang pangalawang reklamo niya. Pangatlong reklamo ni Attorney Kaufman, the pre-trial chamber decided to appoint a panel of experts stating that it required further information without ever stipulating the reasons therefore. So dahil doon, nag-utos daw ang pre-trial chamber na mag-appoint ng panel of experts na sila namang mamimili. So pang-apat, the pre-trial chamber and the registry made two aborted attempts to appoint a neuropsychologist to this panel. The first, a pseudoscientist under active professional suspension. And the second, a rabid social media troll with a racist and foul turn of phrase. So, nag-appoint pa yung ICC ng isang suspendido na doktor. At isa pa, in-appoint din yung isa na mahilig sa social media na doktor. Tapos, panglima, and finally, the pre-trial chamber, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, denied the defense the opportunity of clarifying the contradictory conclusions of the panel forced on the proceedings. Ibig sabihin, sa panel mismo na inorganisa ng ICC, silang mga doktor ay nagkakontra-kontra pa yung kanilang findings. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Yung iba, nagsasabi na not fit. Yung iba, sabi na fit. So, ganun ang sitwasyon. Ngayon lang natin nalaman na ganito pala ang totoong nangyari. So, while simultaneously declining to engage with the defense medical expert. So, ang nangyari nito, ayaw nila tingnan at the same time ng ICC, pre-trial chamber judge, ayaw na tingnan yung sariling report ng sariling medical experts ni Duterte. So, nevertheless, sinusumiti ni Attorney Kaufman na si Mr. Duterte daw ay na-deny siya ng fair opportunity to litigate the issue of fitness to trial. Yan ang sinabi. Ibig sabihin dito pa lang, lumabas na po ang bias ng ICC pre-trial chamber judges. Next, sabi naman ni Attorney Kaufman, the defense can only reiterate what it experiences on a daily basis. Mr. Duterte is unable to process information in a manner that will enable him to exercise meaningfully his rights before the court. The ICC DC medical officer is fully aware of this objective fact since she commissioned her own psychologist, something she would not have done had Mr. Duterte a mind like a steel trap and does not permit Mr. Duterte to take responsibility for his own medication. Binabawalan pa na si Duterte na mag-take ng kanyang sariling gamot. So number 7, in argumento ni Kaufman, accordingly, The defense seeks leave to appeal the decision, rejecting an indefinite adjournment of proceedings and denying an evidentiary hearing, impugn decision on 4 grounds. So, despite the circumstances na nakita at hindi kinonsidera ng ICC Pretrial Chamber ang medical report ng sariling doktor ni Duterte, ay nagpatuloy sila na ipatuloy mo yan ang hearing. So nakita nyo na? Actually, bago ako pagpatuloy ito, yung scheduling na ginawa ng ICC para sa confirmation hearing, ang ginawa nila ay nagbigay sila ng, hindi nila tinudo ang schedule. Hindi nagbigay sila ng recess. Bakit? Kasi mismo yung panel of experts ng ICC nagsasabi sa ICC na hindi pwedeng tumagal si Duterte sa ganong oras lang. Kaya kailangan mamahinga. Kaya February 23, February 24, February 25, pahinga. Tapos 26, 27. Kaya yan ang binigay. So ibig sabihin, kung nagsabi o nag-recommend ang sarili na lang doktor sa ICC na papahingain si Duterte at hindi pwedeng mahaba, yan na po ay pag-aamin na talagang may lehitimong sakit si Duterte. Okay? So first day, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, the pretrial chamber erred in fact and in law, nagkamali sa batas at saka sa detalye, nang ito'y hindi pinansin ang mga detalye ng clinical evidence ng kanyang doktor patungkol sa kanyang kondisyon ng pag-iisip. Kasama na yung mga binigay na mga findings ng defense experts. Pangalawa, yung pretrial chamber ay nagkamali sa batas nang binasura nila ang request ni Duterte na i-questionin ang mga member, ang mga experts na tinalaga ng ICC. Bakit ayaw nila payagan na tanungin? Tapos pangatlo, the pretrial chamber ay nagkamali sa batas nung hindi ito nasabi ng maganda kung paano ang rason bakit naniniwala sila na si Mr. Duterte ay fit to proceed to the confirmation proceedings. Panghuli, sinabi ng abogado ni Duterte na yung pre-trial chamber ay nagkamali pa rin sa batas nang nilimit na lamang ang kanilang pagtingin kay Duterte na fitness to trial nandun lamang sa impact ng findings ng mga doktor ng ICC. Bakit hindi nila sinama yung findings ng doktor ni Duterte sa pagdidesisyon? Yun po, pabalik-balik na gano'n ang issue. So in other words, that act alone is a proof na bias itong pretrial chamber judges. So sabi ng mga sulat ni Attorney Kaufman, these issues directly affect the fairness of the present proceedings, which will be advanced by prompt appellate intervention. Kaya, kailangan mag-apila. Mabuti na lamang, napahiya yung ICC, inaprubahan nila yung request ng abogado ni Duterte na ipasa sa appeals chamber yung issue o yung tanong na fit to trial ba siya o hindi. So, iyan po ang nangyayari. Next. Number 9, no, sa applicable law. A party may seek appellate review of a decision. Masyado na itong ano. At least, sinasabi lang dito na may batas na nagsusuporta na kailangan payagan silang umapila. Okay. So, ito na ngayon ang argumento na ilan ni Kaufman. Yan ha. First, sabi nila, first, the pretrial chamber ay nagkamali sa detalye at saka sa batas nang hindi nito pinansin yung medical report ng mga doktor ni Duterte. So, ibig sabihin, pag binasa ko to, ito yung detalyado. O basahin natin ang number 10. The pretrial chamber ruled that a suspect is considered fit when capable of meaningfully exercising procedural and fair trial rights, viewed overall and in a reasonable manner, emphasizing that this standard can only be met pursuant to a holistic assessment that takes into account all the relevant circumstances of the case. The pretrial chamber proceeded to do precisely the opposite. This is a clear factual error. Ibig sabihin, hindi totoo yan, fake news yan. Yan ang sinasabi ni Attorney Kaufman sa pretrial chamber. Ibig sabihin, nagpe-fake news po yung pretrial chamber para magiging basyan ng kanilang decision. Number 11, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, furthermore, the pre-trial chamber erred in law, nagkamali sa batas nang ito ay binasihan sa decision para sabihin na fit si Duterte mag-participate sa proceedings exclusively on the panel of reports. Exclusive sa report na ng panel sila nagbabase. Paulit-ulit lang ito na argumento. So the latter, sabi defense experts, the latter does not feature anywhere in the impugned decision. Hindi man lang sinulat, binanggit sa decision, including on those material points that pretrial chamber accepted the panel were not unified. The pretrial chamber simply ignored defense expertise without articulating any reason. Talagang completely hindi nila pinansin ang findings ng mga doktor ni Duterte. So, number 12, Mr. Duterte suffers from cognitive impairment affecting multiple domains, including his memory, executive function, and visual-spatial skills. This has been found clinically to restrict his capacity for complex reasoning. This, in turn, allows only limited insight into the current legal circumstances of Duterte. The professional diagnosis of the defense neurologist and the possibility not excluded by the court-appointed neurologist is of indicative of progressive and redacted naman. So the defense neurologist found that Mr. Duterte's condition was not expected to improve even with medical or psychiatric intervention. Sabi, hindi mag-improve ang paging ulyanin niya o paging malimutin kahit na may gamot na ilipapataw sa kanya. Kung ano man mga gamot. So number 13, the pretrial chamber did not assess any of the above findings in the impugned decision. Talagang completely hindi na pinansin ng pretrial chamber ang mga ebidensya na pabor kay Duterte. So it focused exclusively on the reports provided by the panel. So doon lang sila tumutok sa report ng panel ng ICC. Wala sa depensa. Tapos, moreover, number 14, when it relied on the panel reports, the pretrial chamber glossed over any findings that were or could be indicative of diminished cognitive. Mga ganun pa rin, inulit lang, pinabayaan. So dito, number 2, second issue, the pretrial chamber erred in law by rejecting the defense request to hold a hearing on Duterte's purported fitness. So ilang beses nag-request si Atty. Kaufman na magkaroon ng hearing dito sa issue kung talagang fit to trial sa o hindi. Pero paulit-ulit din na hindi pinansin ng pre-trial chamber. So, nakita nyo na yung pagiging bias? Number 15, sinulat ni Atty. Kaufman, over the course of the last 6 months, the defense has repeatedly requested the pre-trial chamber to convene a status hearing to litigate Mr. Duterte's fitness. After dismissing and thereafter totally ignoring defense medical evidence on the spurious grounds of requiring further information, the pre-trial chamber twice denied a defense request to hold a hearing to examine the members of this panel. The defense explained that such a hearing was necessary both as a matter of fairness and to expedite the proceedings. It would allow, the defense argued, the parties to clarify the conclusions of the experts, the reasons for such conclusions, the methodology adopted during the interviews, and the means whereby instructions were communicated to them, all of which would assist the pretrial chamber in its determination. The pretrial chamber, however, dismissed this request. Grabe, lahat na ng request. Pang hearing, pang usisain ang mga panel of experts nila, hindi pinayagan ng pretrial chamber. Number 16, in the impugned decision, the pretrial chamber simply held that it had carefully considered and rejected the substantive submissions in the defense observations. No further reasoning was provided. Thereafter, the pretrial chamber rejected the defense request to hold a hearing, stating that the defense had not shown that it is necessary further to prove what the experts know about confirming proceedings at this court. This is a material error of law. Grabe, talagang matindi. Naniniwala ako lahat ng sinasabi ni Kaufman dito ay totoo. So number 17, Mr. Duterte, as explained below, was entitled to a forensic hearing on the issue of his fitness. The necessity of such hearing was all the more acute given that the panel's joint report disclosed an admittedly unanimous conclusion, yet with radically differing individual opinions as to the etiology and degree of Mr. Duterte's cognitive depreciation. Number 18, sabi ni Atty. Kaufman, the pretrial chamber's disregard of the divergent clinical opinions and its finding of an absence of need to clarify contradictory medical findings is a clear error. By asserting that an absence of uniformity was to be expected without seeking to explain the underlying circumstances, the chamber failed to assess the resulting effect of the overall reliability and probative value of the panel's joint report. Pero mo, nagkaiba-iba na nga findings ng mga member ng panel. Kinonsidera lang ng pretrial chamber na uniform. Matindi to, matindi. So sabi ni Kaufman, the decision to forgo an evidentiary hearing deprived Mr. Duterte of his right to a fair judicial process. Number 19, sabi ni Kaufman, the pretrial chamber committed a further legal error by premising its decision to deny a forensic hearing by reference to its rejection of the defense request for disclosure of communications. Disclosure of the communications between the experts and the registry is thoroughly distinct from the defense right to test the experts' evidence. The pretrial chamber's refusal to grant leave to appeal a prior procedural decision should have no bearing on Mr. Duterte's right to a hearing. Number 20, forensic examination in fitness litigation is the absolute norm at first instance before the international courts and tribunals. A comprehensive review of 19 such cases at the ICC, IRMCT, and ECC, and the ICTY attached to this request reveals that wherever a party has requested a fitness hearing at first instance, the request was granted. In some cases, the relevant chamber even ordered the hearing motu proprio. Ibig sabihin, kahit wala ng request, yung ibang mga kaso na sinasit nila, hindi na nga nanghingi ng hearing, talagang nag-utos pang korte na mag-hearing tungkol doon sa cognitive capacity ng isang akusado. Kasi pag hindi siya nakaintindi, then there will be a violation of due process. Kasi sa Pilipinas na setting, which is also the same there, kailangan sa Section 14, Article 3 ng Constitution nagsasabi that the accused must be informed of the nature and cause of accusation against him. So paano niya malaman kung anong akusasyon sa kanya, detalye nun, kung mahina ang pagkakaintindi niya at malimutin. Yan po ang ibig sabihin niyan. Ngayon, number 21, sinabi ng abogado ni Duterte, to date, the ICC itself has adopted the adversarial procedure in matters of fitness and accepted it as a norm. The Bagbo Trial Chamber, for example, supported the parties' right to question experts and noted that such forensic examination would facilitate the adjudication of any issues which may arise therefrom. Dagdag pa ni Atty. Kaufman, both the pre-trial chamber and the trial chamber in the same case emphasize, sa case ni Gagbo, emphasize the importance of oral hearings to the judicial panel's deliberations. Elsewhere, in the Strogar case at the ICTY, isa itong International Court Tribunal for the Yugoslavia. So ICTY cross-examinations was considered to be particularly helpful in enabling the trial chamber to understand more adequately the basis for the conclusions reached and the significance of the differences of approach. Number 23, sabi ni Atty. Kaufman, the absolute uniformity of the above-mentioned judicial practice reflects the need for heightened procedural safeguards where fitness is in dispute. So, ibig sabihin, sinasite lang ito ni Atty. Kaufman na kung sa ibang mga kaso, bakit hinihiring ang fitness? Dito lang ay hindi. Humihingi sila na hearing, hindi sila pinayagan. So, such a practice, yung practice na magkaroon ng hearing, adopted across the board, distinguishes the positions adopted by Pre-Trial Chamber 1 as being uniquely inexplicable and unfair. So, inakusahan sila ng unfairness. So, number 3 na issue, sinabi ni Atty. Kaufman, the Pre-Trial Chamber erred in law, nagkamali sa batas, by failing to articulate coherently its reasoning nang hindi nito mailagay ng maayos ang kanyang rason at kung bakit sinasabi nito at naniniwala na si Duterte ay fit to proceed to the confirmation proceedings. So number 24, sinabi ni Atty. Kaufman, the pre-trial chamber predicated its order establishing the panel on the insufficiency of the defense expertise. Subsequently, however, the pre-trial chamber failed to demonstrate how or why the panel's findings displaced those proffered by the defense. Number 25, sabi ni Atty. Kaufman, by adopting the panel's findings wholesale and without reasoned analysis, the pre-trial chamber committed an error of law sa hindi na pagtanggap na sang buong-buo kung anong report ng panels at hindi pagtanggap sa report ng mga doktor ni Duterte ay talagang nagkasala sila sa batas. So, ignoring the defense totally unwarranted expectation of an adversarial process and failing to engage with the uncontested defense expertise, the panel effectively replaced the pre-trial chamber in determining what is strictly a question of law. So, ibig sabihin, dahil naniniwala lamang sila, ang pre-trial chamber, sa kung anong sinabi ng panel, para na rin sinasabi na ang panel ay nagiging judge, pinalitan ang pre-trial chamber judges. So, such an approach is wholly inconsistent with the pre-trial chamber's own holding that fitness is a matter reserved exclusively for judicial determination. Ibig sabihin, dahil ginawa nila yun, ay nagkamali sila. Parang sa kanilang sinasabi lagi na ang fitness, ang desisyon sa fitness to trial ay nakareserba lamang sa desisyon ng mga judges, hindi sa panel. So, di ba, tinira nila. So, paragraph 26. Sabi ni Kaufman, the impugned decision, ibig sabihin the challenge decision na kung saan dineklara ng fit to trial si Duterte, sinasabi ito, ay nagsasabi, hindi nagbigay ng explanation kung ano, as to what is required, practically speaking, for a suspect to be deemed fit. Wala man ang nilagay na nilatag na rason o naipakita kung ano bang kakailanganin para maipakita mo na fit for the purpose of the confirmation proceedings si Duterte. Let alone to stand trial. As stated above, one member of the pre-trial chamber even deemed a suspect's fitness to be an irrelevancy at pre-trial. So may isa pang member ng pre-trial chamber, ibig sabihin isang judge. Nagsuspect siya, ibig sabihin nakuha ni Attorney Kaufman yung isang member ng pre-trial at pumapabor kay Kaufman. Kaya lang hindi ata nakapagsabi kung ano ang dapat sabihin kasi na-overwhelmed siya ng kasama niya. So number 27, the pre-trial chamber, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, failed to examine, as is the practice at the international tribunals, whether or how, in light of the various experts' reports, Mr. Duterte can meaningfully exercise his procedural and fair trial rights. So the chambers previously faced with this question have explained these rights with the utmost clarity and care, indicating that they encompass the ability not only to understand the purpose of the proceedings, but also to understand, assimilate, and recall the evidence, to testify or give an unsworn statement, and to understand the consequences thereof, or to instruct counsel in the conduct of his defense. Number 28, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, on the contrary, the impugned decision or the challenge decision of the pre-trial chamber is devoid of the rigorous factual analysis that one would have expected. It fails to explain how precisely Mr. Duterte can meaningfully exercise his rights. Finding correctly that the evaluation of Mr. Duterte's fitness should be holistic does not thereunder relieve the pre-trial chamber of its obligation to determine that, and more particularly how, Mr. Duterte can meaningfully exercise each and every one of his due process rights. This is the sine qua non condition to ensure the fairness of the proceedings. Matinding argumento ni Attorney Kaufman. Number 29, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, for example, the exact materials furnished to the panel remain vague. Hindi klaro. Ang mga materials na binigay sa panel ay hindi klaro. As previously stated, the pre-trial chamber both denied the defense full disclosure and the ability to appeal such refusal. Accordingly, it is not clear whether the panel even received something as basic as the arrest warrant or the document containing the charges. It is even less clear whether the bald-faced assertion that Mr. Duterte understood the charges was based on the panel's knowledge of the exact nature of the charges or the Duterte's rudimentary recollection that he is charged with murdering drug pushers. Such lack of clarity as to the methodology adopted to assess Mr. Duterte's purported fitness is fatal to the claim that he can participate in the confirmation process effectively. Di ba? Ulitin ko lang to sandali. So it is even less clear, hindi klaro kung ang katotohanan ng pag-argumento ni Mr. Duterte, kung nakaintindi ba siya ng mga kaso ay nakabase po sa panel na pagkaalaman ng panel at saka exact na nature ng kaso laban kay Duterte ay or Mr. Duterte's rudimentary recollection that he is hindi, ang ina-argument na hindi kaya sa dami-dami ng mga namatay, hindi niya kaya alalahanin yun lahat. Parang ganun lang ibig sabihin. So number 30, sabi ni Attorney Kaufman, moreover, while Mr. Duterte need not exhibit cognitive function of the highest level to be considered fit, a broad understanding of the nature of the charges nevertheless implies some degree of understanding, not just of the general accusations, but also of the specific factual allegations, including on the modes of liability. This degree of understanding, necessary in and of itself to ensure the fairness of the proceedings, is also a prerequisite to determine the suspect's capability to effectively instruct counsel or to participate in his defense. Number 31, equally erroneous is the absence of any substantive assessment to whatever or how Mr. Duterte would be able to communicate with counsel in such a way that counsel is able to adequately present the position of Mr. Duterte in respect of relevant matters. Counsel has continually informed the pre-trial chamber of the difficulties he faces in communicating with Mr. Duterte in the present phase. So, ibig sabihin, pinagtapat ni Atty. Kaufman na nahihirapan siya makipag-usap kay Duterte, hindi sila nakaintindihan. So, number 32, indeed, the pre-trial chamber failed to address the panel's silence on the defense argument that Mr. Duterte is incapable of retaining information for the purpose of delivering effective instructions. The panel did not conclude that Mr. Duterte was devoid of memory problems, rather that he exhibited underperformance. Nowhere did the panel state that such underperformance was deliberate. Accordingly, ibig sabihin, hindi binanggit ng panel na lahat ng pagkakalimot ni Duterte ay sadya. Klaro ha? So accordingly, the pre-trial chamber failed to consider how Mr. Duterte's cognitive issues, whether their degree, impacted on his ability to retain information for the purpose of exercising his procedural rights. So, ibig sabihin, yung pre-trial chamber ay nagkamali sa pagkonsidera sa mga isyu sa umiikot-ikot kay Duterte sa kanyang pagkakaintindi, capacity to understand. Number 4, fourth issue. Sabi ni Atty. Kaufman, the pre-trial chamber erred in law, nagkamali sa batas, na in confining its assessment of Mr. Duterte's fitness to the pre-trial phase and in failing to consider the impact of its finding. Ito, maganda ito. Nagkamali ang pre-trial chamber. Bakit ang kanilang conclusion ay para lamang sa pre-trial? Wala sa trial. Iba namang usapin ng trial. Yun, magandang argumento to. So, sinabi ni Atty. Kaufman, the impugned decision is also infected by the pre-trial chamber's failure to address how Mr. Duterte is expected, in practical terms, to exercise his procedural rights in future proceedings in light of a memory impairment recognized by all experts. Recognized naman pala ng experts na nakakalimot na si Duterte, wala na siyang memory masyado. So international criminal proceedings are notoriously protracted and a suspect's fitness must be assessed holistically in relation to the judicial proceedings as a whole. It cannot be assessed in isolation, limited only to the here and now. The pre-trial chamber, however, appears to have done just that. This is an error of law. Okay. Number 34. The pre-trial chamber has not addressed how its present determination on fitness will affect or will be affected by the realities of ongoing and lengthy proceedings. Tandaan mo ha, mga maabot ng 4 na taon na kununkan, paano makakaya ni Duterte yan? It tailored its findings of fitness to the pre-trial proceedings, leaving the core legal issue unresolved, namely whether Mr. Duterte will ultimately be fit to stand trial. Yan ang pinaka-issue, hindi yung to stand pre-trial, kundi to stand trial. Number 35, the confirmation of charges is intended to act as a gatekeeper by determining whether a case is sufficiently meritorious to proceed to trial. There is little point in holding a confirmation hearing when there is strong likelihood that the suspect, even if charges were to be confirmed, would be unfit to stand trial. So, ibig sabihin, kahit pa makonfirm ba yan, ang pinaka-issue, kaya ba niya magsa-trial? So number 36, trial proceedings in stark contrast to the confirmation phase encompasses dozens of witnesses, hundreds of hours of oral testimony, and tens of thousands of pages of documents. O, laliman ka? Paano mo yun mabasa na maalala ni Duterte yan? Thousands of pages. Maraming testigo. So hearings occur almost daily, and the accused must be able to follow evolving evidence and to engage continuously with his defense. Indeed, procedural stamina assumes a significance that is largely absent at the pre-trial phase. Memory defect, deficits, impaired concentration, or an inability to follow proceedings over extended periods will most surely fatally compromise one's defense. O yan, kung hindi na makaintindi si Duterte, mahirapan siya depensa niya, hindi na makalala yung mga iba. Dami-daming testigo, maalala ba niya yan? Siyempre, kada testigo kada salita ni Las Cañas, magtatanong sila, ano ba yan, nasundan mo? Tatanungin si Atty. Kaufman kay Duterte. Number 37, no consideration was given by the pretrial chamber to the fact that given his age and vascular risk profile, Mr. Duterte's memory will continue to depreciate just as the need for recollection and mental acuity sharply increases. This failure and the subsequent finding of fitness has not only polluted the fairness of the present proceedings, but is also an injudicious use of resources should Mr. Duterte prove, as the defense anticipates, unable to participate in his own trial. B. Fair and expeditious conduct of the proceedings or outcome of the trial. Pang-apat na issue ito, panglimang issue. Proceedings are fair only insofar as they are transparent and fully respect the rights of the person brought before the court. A failure to respect such rights during the pretrial stage will have significant consequences on the outcome of the proceedings. Moving forward with the proceedings despite contradictory evidence on Mr. Duterte's lack of fitness contaminates the entire process and affects the fairness of the proceedings. Mr. Duterte's fitness, sabi ni Kaufman, Mr. Duterte's fitness to stand trial is the key issue and one that is likely to be revisited as his condition deteriorates. Even at the trial stage, in the absence of an adversarial hearing and recent articulation of the legal requirements for fitness in the context of demanding court proceedings, the standards applied by the pretrial chamber lack clarity. In addition to tainting the fairness and transparency of the present proceedings, such particular uncertainty is liable to trigger litigation at a later stage. For this reason, a definitive ruling by the appeals chamber on the issues identified herein will ensure the expeditious conduct of the proceedings as a whole by the preventing unnecessary future litigation. So issue number 6, immediate resolution. Number 40, the defense raised the plea of fitness before Mr. Duterte's initial appearance. It is not to blame for any delay. Had the pretrial chamber held a status conference as has been repeatedly requested, any perceived protraction of proceedings could have been avoided. In any event, an immediate resolution of this matter by the appeals chamber is now necessary. Any further delay in addressing the issue at hand risks prejudicing the rights of Mr. Duterte and impeding the fair and expeditious conduct of the proceedings. Prompt appellate resolutions will ensure that the pretrial proceedings proceed on a sound basis, will avoid any future litigation on the matter, and will remove doubts as to the correctness of the impugned decisions. So, conclusion and relief sought. In light of the patently detrimental effect of the above identified errors on Mr. Duterte's rights and on the fairness of the proceedings, the defense requests pretrial chamber 1 to certify the cited issues for appeal. Yun, napilitan ang pretrial chamber judge na aprobahan ang apila. At sa response niya, sa reaction na yan, ay nagpalabas na rin ng utos ang appeals chamber na magsumiti na. At binigyan si Duterte or si Atty. Kaufman ng until February 5 para mag-submit ng kanilang apila. At binigyan din ang kalaban na prosecutor at mga abogado ng biktima hanggang February 12 para sumagot sa apila. So, ayan po. Ladies and gentlemen, narinig ninyo straight from the ICC. So, magbabati na lang ako. Ay Nenen Kausing, may aking kapatid. So, Baxpo TV, attorney, baka inaayos na ng ICC yung kaso ni Duterte dahil may nanonood akong vlog na tarot reading card. Ang sabi, meron isang ICC judge na babae na aayusin niya ang pag-handle ng kaso ni Duterte. Harold P. Peninsula, good evening. Dali Okay, si Marilyn Bundok. Magandang gabi, Marivic 788, watching from Hong Kong. Kay Kumaro, bakit ayaw pang bitawan ng ICC PRRD? Malinaw naman, wala silang jurisdiction sa Pilipinas. Jose Martinez, Boss Toto, done deal na yung kaso ni PRRD, nagkabayar na? Basta tingin ko pa may chance pa tayo. Maria Fems Duterte, good evening amigo. Bertini, Katolik Kasing, magandang gabi. Fems, Helen Baguio, nako, muntik ko na naman huli sa live nyo. Dinner time kasi, sige. Dito sa Hong Kong. Helen Baguio, Virgie Piquero, G. Salartar, good evening Attorney Toto. Gil Pamulaya, Sir Toto, may kasama ako sa barko. Ang name niya, Chito Kausing Milibo from Banga, South Cotabato. Siya baka, pariente ko yan, si Chito Kausing Milibo. Pakirigas mo ko sa kanya. Kasama pala sa barko. Si Thomas Esplana, gandang gabi. Attorney Toto Kausing. Helen Baguio, ganda ng topic. May sumisingit na ads. Ganon ba? Smart achiever. Delaying tactic po yan. Saan galing yung pera niya na pagsustento sa abogado niya? Pag lilibog sana ni Sara? Smart achiever, no? Ay hindi po delaying tactic yan. Wala pong mali po yung report nila ni Attorney Jesus Palsis na tikalon, sinungaling, fake news lagi, pati si Trillanes. Naniniwala din natin si Ma'am Cielo Magnus Canla na 150 million na binabayad ni Duterte sa abogado niya. Mali po yun. Ang katotohanan, nag-avail po siya ng pro bono lawyer at inappoint niya, pinili niya sa listahan ng mga abogado na binigay ng ICC si Kaufman at binabayaran ng ICC si Kaufman ng 2 milyon kada buwan sa peso ha. Ganun lamang po ang bayad kay Atty. Kaufman. Kaya fake news yung sabihin nila na nagbayad ng 100 million o 150 million. So, job 25, karma ang sa mga taong gumawa ng kawalang hiyain kay Digong. Kaya si BBM mauna pa kay Digong. Yun. Gandang gabi po, Attorney Toto. Edeline Marbilla, gandang gabi po, Attorney Kausing. Shout out from Naik, Cavite po. Ay, magandang gabi sa Naik, Cavite. At saka sa Ternate. Buenas noches. Amigos, amigas, a todos in Ternate, Cavite. Tapos si Saldico, alam at may ebidensya, malamang. Tapos Ariels, good evening Sir Toto at sa lahat. Ophelia, Taipan, planado na ikulong kahit walang hearing. Tapos Galaxy, good evening po Sir Sir, watching from Singapore. Ay, magandang gabi po sa Singapore. Hindi bibitawan ng ICC si APRRD dahil sa $100 million. Ganun ba? Ophelia P. Taipan, Kolelat si Tikon na naman. Jolie Del Rosario, good evening po. Marie Sultan, Hil Pamuluya, good evening Sir Toto, may kasama ako sa barko. At Chito Kausing, nabasa ko na yan, no? Si Victoria Garden Boer, good evening Attorney Kausing. Fernando Jr., good evening. Bumbi, mayong gabi. Aresausa, good evening. Attorney, God protect you. Kimils Bakol, yan, maraming salamat sa iyong palipad. Thank you for the update. Versatile Matt, more power to you, Dr. Toto. Thanks to the brightest. Salamat. Thomas Isplana, gandang gabi, Attorney Toto Kausing. Like, and share natin ito. Magandang balita. Arle, lalo masisira ang ICC kay PRRD. Fanny Periel, magandang gabi. Maayong gabi, Attorney Kausing. O sa mga kaibigan ko, ay please lang, bigyan niyo po ako ng tulong. Siyempre, wala na akong pera dito sa aking GCash. GCash number ko ay 0917-300-7796. At ang aking video savings, mamili na lang kayo, ay 004580-368-536. Ang pangalan ko ay Berteni C. Kausing. Yan po, Kung maawa kayo, please na lang, tulungan nyo lang ako. So, yan na po, Magandang gabi po. At least binigyan ko kayo ng updated information, pinaka-latest galing sa ICC. Okay? Magandang gabi at share na lang po. Paki-like para naman matulungan nyo ako. At paki-share sa mga kaibigan at paki-convince sa ibang mga tao pa na sumali sa ating channel kasi ito lamang po ang totoong channel na katotohanan. Hindi man ito anti-Duterte, hindi rin pro-Duterte, pero pro-batas tayo. Kung pamapabor ang batas kay Duterte, doon tayo sa batas. Basta kung ano lang batas, hindi pwede yung mga ugali na kung mo anti-Duterte ka, gusto mo anti-Duterte na lang lahat. Kung gusto mo pro-Duterte lang lahat. Kung gusto mo pro-BBM na lang lahat. Yan mga ugali ng karamihan ng Pilipino, kaya nasisira ang Pilipinas eh. Kaya umapila ko sa inyo, magiging pro-batas tayo. Okay, magandang gabi po. Si Joe Vlog Southern TV, magandang gabi. Okay, magandang gabi po. Tulungan lang ako, may GCash ako dyan, mayroon akong video. Salamat po.